A 17-year-old boy walks into his high school gym. He never walks out. The next morning, his classmates find his body, upside down, stuffed inside a rolled-up wrestling mat. His sneakers shoved behind his knees. Authorities say it was a freak accident. His family says it was murder. And what happened next? The missing organs, the missing surveillance footage, the stuffed body, raised questions that no official investigation has ever fully answered. This is the story of Kendrick Johnson. Kendrick Johnson was 15, later 17 at the time of his death, a student at Lowndes High School in Valdosta, Georgia. He was described by family and friends as a sweet, quiet kid who excelled in sports. He played football, basketball, and ran track. He dreamed of playing professional football one day. Valdosta is a city in deep South Georgia, and its history matters here. Confederate flags and monuments are still prominently displayed in town, and the city carries a long, documented history of racial tension and injustice. That context didn't create Kendrick's death, but it shaped every moment of what came after. On January 10th, 2013, Kendrick headed to the old gym at Lowndes High School. He was not seen exiting it. His mother, Jacqueline, reported him missing around midnight. The following morning changed everything. The next morning, a student noticed feet sticking out of one of the rolled-up gym mats. Not shoes, feet. Kendrick's body was found upside down, wedged deep inside a vertically standing wrestling mat. His sneakers were shoved behind his knees. He had been there, undiscovered, in a school of over 3,000 students for hours. Lowndes County Sheriff's investigators concluded that Kendrick had died in a freak accident, stuck upside down and unable to breathe while trying to retrieve a shoe that had fallen inside the upright mat. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation's autopsy backed this up, ruling the cause of death as positional asphyxiation and the manner accidental. Case closed. Move on. Except Kendrick's family couldn't move on, and the more they looked, the more they found that something was deeply, fundamentally wrong. Start with the basics. If Kendrick had been alive and stuck in that mat, struggling and suffocating, how did no one in a school of over 3,000 students hear him call for help? No one reported a sound. No one heard a thing. Georgia state law requires that a coroner be notified immediately upon the discovery of a body. The coroner later stated he was not notified until 6 hours after Kendrick was found. 6 hours, in a case already being called accidental. Then came the surveillance footage. In November 2013, 290 hours of surveillance tape from 35 cameras covering the gym area were released to CNN following a court order. A forensic analyst found that footage from 2 cameras was missing 1 hour and 5 minutes, while another set was missing 2 hours and 10 minutes. Nearly 3.5 hours of footage gone. From cameras directly covering the area where Kendrick died. The family's attorney pointed out that Kendrick was black, and every investigator and official involved in the initial case was white. If Kendrick had been a white student, the family argued, the investigation would have been handled very differently. They were not wrong to ask. Kendrick's family refused to accept the official finding. They commissioned an independent autopsy, performed by Dr. William Anderson, a private pathologist. The results were devastating. The second autopsy found hemorrhaging on the right side of Kendrick's neck, evidence consistent with blunt force trauma. The pathologist concluded that his death was not an accident. The family also cited bruising on their son's right jaw and marks near his wrist that they claimed were consistent with stun gun prongs. 2 autopsies, 2 completely different conclusions. One said accident, one said murder. But it was what the second autopsy uncovered about the body itself that horrified the nation. When the family had Kendrick's body exhumed for the second autopsy, the pathologist made a discovery that stopped everyone cold. Kendrick's body had been stuffed with newspaper. His organs were missing. His father, Kendrick Johnson, said to CNN, "When we buried Kendrick, we thought we were burying Kendrick, not half of Kendrick." What followed was a maze of contradictions between authorities. The GBI stated that after their autopsy, Kendrick's organs were placed back inside his body before it was released to the funeral home. But the funeral home owner said in a letter that his firm never received the teen's organs. A coroner claimed the organs had been destroyed through natural process due to the position of Kendrick's body and discarded before the body was sent back to Valdosta. Nobody agreed. Nobody was held accountable. And a Georgia Secretary of State investigation ultimately cleared the funeral home of any wrongdoing, while acknowledging that newspaper was not best practice. A teenager's body stuffed with newspaper, buried without his organs, after a 6-hour delay in notifying the coroner, with hours of surveillance footage missing. And the official ruling remained accident. Kendrick's parents refused to give up. In January 2015, they filed a $100 million civil lawsuit against 38 individuals, including classmates, local and state officials, the school superintendent, the GBI and 5 of its agents, the Valdosta police chief, the state medical examiner, and an FBI agent, alleging that Kendrick's death was murder and that the respondents participated in a conspiracy to cover up the homicide. The family's lawsuit alleged the killing involved 2 sons of an FBI agent who attended Lowndes High School. Those boys and their family have consistently denied any involvement, and no charges were ever filed against anyone. In October 2013, the U.S. Attorney for the Middle District of Georgia opened a formal review. And in June 2016, the Department of Justice announced it would not be filing any criminal charges related to Kendrick's death. The DOJ noted that to pursue federal civil rights charges, prosecutors would have had to prove not only that someone killed Kendrick, but that the killing was motivated by racial animus, a high threshold that the evidence did not meet. The Lowndes County Sheriff's Office reopened the case in 2021. After 10 months of review, they concluded once again there was no evidence of foul play. But the case did not close. As of April 2026, the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office has confirmed the case remains open, and Sheriff Polk has offered a $500,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction in Kendrick's death. $500,000, still unclaimed. In 2025, a federal appeals court ruled that the family's civil lawsuit, which had been dismissed, should be sent back to the lower court for reconsideration, giving the Johnson family another chance to argue their case in front of a judge. More than 12 years later, they are still fighting. Kendrick Johnson was a 3-sport athlete with dreams of going pro. Those dreams ended on the floor of a school gymnasium at 17 years old. A body stuffed with newspaper, missing surveillance footage, contradicting autopsies, a 6-hour delay, and a town with a history of looking the other way. Whether Kendrick Johnson's death was a terrible accident or a covered-up murder, one thing is undeniable. The investigation into how he died was broken. Evidence was mishandled. Questions were left unanswered. And a family has spent over a decade fighting just to be heard. His father still wears a t-shirt that reads, "Kendrick Johnson didn't roll himself up into no mat." If this story moved you, share it. Not for the algorithm, for Kendrick, for his parents, for every family that's been told to accept an answer that doesn't add up. Like this video, subscribe for more cases that deserve the spotlight, and drop a comment below. Do you believe it was an accident or something more? Justice for Kendrick Johnson. See you in the next one.